G'day everyone. It's a dreary old day in Sydney here today, but I'm very excited because a couple of things have arrived in the mail. Those being these carabiners and a lot of webbing, which means I can finally sub out the suspension system in my Hennessy hammock. But first I want to do some load testing. I know this thing works. Can't wait. Hi guys, so what we'll be looking at today are these carabiners. The brand is called Try Wonder, but you can get something like this all over the web. It's a carabiner that's this shape, and I assume it's one factory in China pumping out multiples of these. It gets rebranded. You'll often see 12 kilonewtons as the number stated. It's not a climbing carabiner. I doubt it's certified to anything, so okay to use the hammocks, which are 2 feet off the ground. Disclaimer, don't use them for climbing. Your life's worth a lot more than the $13 I paid for 4 of these. They are 21 grams each, which is 0.75 ounces. And the other thing I've picked up is 10 meters of polyester webbing. I've tied in a bit of a knot here, but as you can see, it's 1 inch thick, or about 25 mils. And this was very cheap too. It was $7 from Bunnings, which is a hardware store we have here in Australia. It's nothing ultra light. It's from a hardware shop. You can find 1 inch webbings for a lot less weight than this. Maybe not as cheap. And it is 18.5 grams a meter, or 0.65 ounces a yard. And the manufacturing breaking strength is 680 kilograms, which is about 1,500 pounds. In combination, I'd much prefer these over my current Hennessy hammock factory suspension, but I'll do that modification in a later video. Let's get into the maths of how these will work as components in a suspension system on a hammock. Cool. Okay, so before we get testing, I'll show you the final schematic of how this will hang in reality, so we can simulate that.
So this is our tree, very circular. With bird's eye view, we've got the hammock coming in here. Imagine that continues up this way. I'm going to have the webbing going around the tree with a carabiner here. Makes it easy to clip on and off. Similar to this, I'm going to replace the hammock suspension here with a loop of webbing with the carabiner at the end, which then gets cow hitched to the 1 inch webbing. I'm going to try to simulate that and see if we can break this thing, or hopefully not.
Okay, so doing some quick maths to guesstimate what kind of forces we'll be simulating here in our load test on the suspension. Say we had in side view.
We have our tree here, webbing going around. A very nice 30 degree angle to our hammock. It's a very small hammock. 30 degrees here. I apply my weight of 100 kilos. Don't laugh, it's all muscle. Now, at our trees, we get a reaction to that of 50 kilos at each end of the suspension. Finding our force and hypotenuse means, this is the tension force. We'll do sine 30, which equals 0.5. We then have double our vertical and hypotenuse, so we have a very nice, reasonable 100 kilos. Easy to remember, our weight is the same force and tension in both our suspension systems. Now, say we would reduce this number to, say, 15. We're then dealing with sine 15, which is 0.25. So now we're getting 4 times our vertical. So we're getting 200 kilos, which is double our load and our webbing just by going 15 degrees less. So word of warning, if anyone's interested in what would happen if we went to 5 degrees, sine of 5 degrees is 0.9-ish, a bit less, which means we'd be getting 10 times our vertical force in our hypotenuse, which means this number would go up to a whopping 500 kilos-ish. So, be warned, if you choose 2 trees a long way away and try and put a very tight hammock hang, you'll end up with massive forces, not to mention quite an uncomfortable hang. Alright, let's go test this thing.
Okay, so we're out here in the bush, / a park in Sydney, the highway over there, but I've found a good tree to do this. And yeah, it's a miserable old day. Hopefully the ground's nice and soft when I fall, inevitably. And say hi, Brunty. Not much to say, but yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I've got my 1-inch webbing. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and attach the carabiner. I'll just do a marlin spike hitch, nice and easy. Pull that tight, and that is not going anywhere. Oh, it's going somewhere a bit after that, nowhere. Webbing is actually quite grippy when tied in knots. It is quite slippery and shiny on its own over surfaces, but it's not going anywhere. I'll then do a simple overhand knot for something to grip onto. There we go, that's our rigging, nice and simple. Let's go test this thing. Okay, so first test is just my body weight. Let's try that. No problems there. Now what I'm going to do is take some scissors and start cutting across the rope, starting with 1/4, going to half, going to 3/4. To my mind, if 1/4 of this webbing can take my full body weight, happy with that. It means I can camp at a 10 degree angle in my hammock, from tree to hammock. So yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, so what I want to do is, if you can see, there's actually distinct bands on the webbing, which each are 20% thick. So it works for me. I'm going to do 80%, 60%, 40%, 20%, and see where that gets us. Alright, first up is 20%. Okay, no troubles there. Let's now go to 40% cut. Okay, so no worries at 40% cut, the rope. We are seeing a bit of stretching in the fibres next to it. That's because it's loading eccentrically. So next I'm going to cut the other side another 20%. Like so. So we now have 40% of 1 inch of intact webbing here to test. Let's see. Alright, so 40% intact webbing can still take my full 100 kilos. I'm going to keep cutting that same side, take it down to 20%. And there we are, just the middle fifth of the webbing still remaining. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to clear all the debris for this one because I suspect this might be a cut too far. Still holds. Okay, surprisingly 20%. Still going well. A bit of stretching happening, but held for a little while. So I guess all there is to do next is take it down to that final, let's say 10%, see what happens. So there we have it. A bit hard to see, but that's about 10% of the fibres left on this webbing. Yeah, I'm worried about this one. Let's see. Well, that was it. That was good actually. It just sort of broke with the final 20% of weight that I lifted off the ground onto that. Held for a moment. It's a bit stretchy, this polyester. You can see there. But yeah, then catastrophic failure. So there we have it. 10% of this rope can't take 100 kilos, but 20% can. So our number's somewhere between 500 and 1,000. Bit of a rough test, but to my mind, that's worth using for a hammock suspension. So here is the frayed end that was on the tree. You can see it broke sort of typically for webbing, polyester in particular. Strands at the outside started snapping before central strands stretched and it rocketed up the centre. If you're going to do this at home, please do it safer than I did. Safety goggles, probably worthwhile. Yeah, I'm just keen to now do this modification. Watch my next video to see how I can put this on my Hennessy hammock. Anyway, cheers guys, next time, later.